Hey you guys, it's Kirsten and welcome to another episode, if you will, of my little series for ballet dancers in quarantine. This series is really to help you navigate the core struggles that many dancers are facing as they try to train at home. You're maybe grieving the loss of certain opportunities like performances or just the loss of normalcy in your life, and you're trying to figure out how to make this work and how to find a balance between continuing to dance and continuing to train without going crazy. So I really want to make these videos to help you through the emotions you might be feeling, the kind of roadblocks you're experiencing to just being present and using this time for restoration, reflection, whatever it is that you want to use this time to grow in. I want to help you get there. So welcome to the second video. This is the video where I really want to talk about the core struggle that many of us are facing, which is being overly critical of yourself and judgmental towards yourself. And additionally, many dancers I've noticed are really experiencing anxiety about falling behind in their progress. You might be flipping through Instagram and you see another dancer who has like a six-pack and is saying like, oh, I forget to eat some days, and you're like, sorry, excuse me, I've literally never forgotten a meal in my life. You're worrying about staying in shape. You are seeing other people talk about taking 3 live classes a day and you can hardly force yourself to take 1 and you don't even enjoy it. There is so much comparisonitis going around on Instagram, just as much as there also is encouragement, and it's so cool to see the ballet community coming together and supporting each other and seeing us still express our art and dance at home. It's really cool to see dancers in the community adapt. But this video is really meant to help those of you who are struggling with being critical of yourself, worrying about falling behind, comparing yourself to others, and you're trying to find a balance. So I really hope that this is not only helpful to you, but reassuring to you and comforting to you that you are doing great, even if you took 2 days off that are weekdays and you are taking like 30 minutes to do Pilates and you're not even taking class. Like, I want to make this video to help you develop a kinder, more accepting relationship with yourself, and one that actually helps you to dance from a place of enjoyment, maybe even for yourself, instead of self-hatred when you do actually take your classes. Hey there! I just want to briefly pause this video to ask you if you are a creature of habit like most dancers are. Buying those same old tights that you may think are fine, but they maybe give you elephant knees. They constantly rip at the crotch. They are constantly fading very quickly. They are not comfortable. They get saggy. Not nice. Well, let me just ask you to step out of that comfort zone a little bit and become a little less of a creature of habit, and urge you to try Zerily Tights, which is what is sold on balletok.com, the generous sponsor of today's video and many of my other videos. I'm very grateful for their ongoing support, which keeps Twin Talks Ballet going and the messages I share to encourage dancers going out into the world. So I would love to urge you to try Zerily Tights if you haven't yet, because hey, if comfortable tights are available that also do the work of adding that compression to your legs, which is comfortable, it's gentle, but just enough to keep your legs feeling better longer in the studio. That compression eases the inflammation and slows it from building up so quickly. And then also you get to recover faster between workouts and days in the studio, which what dancer doesn't want that? So you get comfortable tights, tights that have that compression slimming and smoothing everything out, and also doing the work to help you be a better athlete. I love Zerily Tights. Can't say enough good things about them, and I would love for you to use my coupon code down below to get $10 off your next order on balletok.com. Speaking of ditching your old tights, once you have loved the heck out of your Zerily Tights or any other brand, you can also use balletok.com's recycling program specifically for tights. I love this concept. To learn more about it and how you can turn your tights in to get a discount on your next order of tights from balletok.com, just visit their website. It's all linked down below, and again, use my coupon code on your next order. So thank you again, balletok.com, and let's continue with the video. The first reassurance I really want to share with you is that your worth is not tied directly to your output. Your worth as a person is not changing. It's not something that changes whether you have done more or gotten better results or no results. If you are sick and you can't take a class, are you all of a sudden a worthless human being? No. You are loved for exactly who you are. You are lovable for exactly how you are right now, not what you do. And as dancers, I know that usually accomplishment for most of us is a driving force behind how significant and valuable we feel as people, or how much we even feel like ourselves. Many of us have this ideal self-image of achieving a lot, working really hard. We've incorporated a lot of these behaviors into our identity as people. This could come from years of hearing the comment, "Oh, good girl," when you do a triple pirouette, leading you to think, "Oh, I'm better, I'm a good person, because I could do this." Maybe that's probably not a conscious thought, but really the way we train and the way we get our sense of worth, even if it is maybe not the healthiest way to get our sense of worth, it definitely does impact our sense of identity, our sense of worth, and how we walk that out every day. So in this time where understandably our outputs are different, we're not performing, we aren't taking class in a big room, getting comments like, "Oh, good job," or "Work on this," we're not getting as much of that external stimulus. And also, this isn't really a time for us to be having that bigger, better, faster mentality. Like, in order to feel like I'm doing okay in life, my growth trajectory always has to look like this. My results have to get bigger and better every single day. That's oftentimes how us dancers measure our worth, but that's simply not how it works. I want to challenge you to embrace that your output is not what determines your worth as a human being. As we also value results and achievement and improvement as dancers, that's not a bad thing inherently. We just have to watch how we live that out. I also want to introduce the concept that more action does not always equal better and more results. There are times when, as dancers, we can get into this very mathematical way of thinking where you're used to doing, your 30-minute Pilates workout and 6 hours of dancing a day, and then you eat this meal, and this meal. It's like very quantified. It's very much controlled. It's a routine, and you feel like you can get certainty and you can trust it. You can trust that if you just do all these things, you will get the certain result that you want, whether it be a certain physique, a certain part. Maybe you can expect to advance to the next rank in your school or company the next year. But simply, that is not how life works. First, the assumption behind that way of thinking is that you know best. You know what to do in order to get exactly what you want. Reality is, all of us humans don't know what the heck we're doing. We just think we do, at best. So embrace that life and achievement, and I like to think of it as not just achievement. Like, I don't believe that I'm the only force behind what I have received in life. I didn't control where I was born, what my name is, what my body looks like. I have not, achieved so much for myself that I currently benefit from. And I know in your life, no matter what lot you've been given, it's the exact same situation. The thing is, we've all been given certain gifts. We've all been given the recipients of grace in some way. And at least that's my belief. And just because you think you can do X, Y, Z to get a certain result, that doesn't mean those are the only factors going into what you achieve and experience in life. So recognize that maybe taking a step back right now, doing less, going slower, taking a bit more of a microscopic approach, simplistic approach to progress in life right now. You can actually, just through having faith that you'll be okay if you listen to your body's cues, if you do kind of follow that inner voice that's saying, "Hey, slow down, take a rest, take a second." If you do follow that voice, trust that maybe this is your chance to see just how much you actually do get to achieve or experience progress in your technique by actually doing less. Maybe when you relax and you say, okay, I'm used to dancing 6 hours a day, but an hour is what I have in me today. An hour is what I can do with energy, commitment, and joy. Do that hour with energy, commitment, and joy, and then go on about your day. Maybe the way you approach that hour is so magnificent and life-giving that it's extremely productive. So even if you might actually experience your body getting in better shape because you're relaxed, there's not so much stress on it. When you aren't so stressed, maybe you aren't stress eating. We don't know. Maybe you can get better in some ways by slowing down, and then see how much your idea of doing things right actually doesn't correlate to getting the results you want. Embrace that ambiguity, but also embracing fluctuation. Maybe saying, success for me right now looks like seeing my body fluctuate in strength and in weight and in shape, and embracing that and celebrating that you can love your body for however it looks, that you can trust that understandably it might fluctuate, but then also trust that when you get back into more physical activity, you don't have to worry about what you'll look like. Your body will naturally adjust according to how you fuel it, your activity level. So just having more of a perspective of faith and allowing for fluctuations really is healthy. So wrapped up in that point, my next point is really that progress, again, it doesn't have to look linear. And in fact, it really doesn't in life for anybody. We often interpret the dips in our progress chart, if you will, as failures. That's a bad thing. It's a bad thing to stop, to slow down, to have less, to experience a breakdown in life. But if we look at nature, that's really not how it works. Nature has seasons. Winter is a time for actually death, for a breakdown, for a resetting, so that in spring there can be new birth, new life, new growth, a new way of flourishing. Like imagine if in nature the same plants just kept growing. They never stopped. They always got bigger and better. Can you imagine how huge they would be given how, old the planet is? That's not how nature works, thank goodness. Plants die and they give off seeds so that new plants can come up. They can die, give off seeds, and new plants can come up after that. So if we embrace the rhythms of nature and examine, okay, how can maybe this is a winter season for me right now. Or maybe it's spring, the seeds I am planting from this time of winter, it's going to start growing, and I'm seeing that. We don't always have to be in harvest season, and that is a beautiful thing. Also, with this concept of progress looking different, when you kind of step off that progress track of more, bigger, better, faster, stronger, whatever, and you say, okay, maybe progress for me right now looks like challenging that old status quo in my head, that in order to like myself, I have to look a certain way, other people have to see me a certain way, blah, blah, blah. Maybe progress for you in a way that will be so life-changing is taking a step back and challenging all those old ideas. Maybe it's not comfortable for you. Maybe those thoughts that come up of, oh, I'm worthless, I haven't achieved anything today. Maybe instead of obeying and listening to that thought, you observe it and you're like, ooh, progress for me right now looks like saying, that's an old way of thinking, but this is my new chapter. I'm going to challenge that thought. I'm going to say, no, actually, this is my opportunity to reclaim that and to tell myself a different story. This is my opportunity to actually rest, and then by fully engaging with this time of rest, see how much more you have to give when you do get back in the studio. And trust that even if your body is out of shape when you come back, maybe you have such a different relationship with yourself and your body that you no longer go into unhealthy eating patterns, or you no longer push yourself so hard out of a feeling of inadequacy to where you experience fewer injuries, more longevity in your career. The options are endless for how engaging with this time of rest could provide tremendous progress for you. So speaking of that season metaphor, think of what seeds you would like to plant now for your summer harvest when you do get back in the studio. and delight in this time of getting to slow down and just enjoy it. It is okay to enjoy it. Another thing I really want to encourage you with is something I find so personally fulfilling and exciting. This concept is one that I repeat a lot in my videos, or it's at least underlying in a lot of what I talk about, which is the way you treat yourself and the perspective you choose to have is what you project onto other people, and it's how you treat other people. So if you learn to slow down and to be kind to yourself right now, something a lot of dancers fear because they think if they're nice to themselves, they're going to get lazy, they're going to get fat, they're going to get weak. That's a huge underlying fear. But maybe actually being kind to yourself right now and allowing yourself to dance because you enjoy it, allowing yourself to enjoy it, and almost resetting that relationship you have with yourself and with dance, you can change your motivational pattern from needing to feel inadequate in order to push, needing to look around at other dancers and to say, oh, I suck compared to them, I need to work harder. So many of us rely on that negativity to push ourselves. This is your time to challenge that. This is maybe your time to dance for you and to be kind to yourself and to follow maybe the cues you have throughout your day of, I want to eat this meal, I want to dance, I don't want to dance. Get familiar with what you actually want to do, follow it, and see what happens. The worst that can happen is you do it for a week, you realize, what, I really don't think this is working for me. And you find a new middle ground. Maybe you end up loving it. Try it for a week, see what happens. This is your chance to dance because you want to, and to do it from a place of being kind to yourself. And when you do that, then when you get in the studio, you're going to have learned how to dance because you want more of that joy. You want to work harder and spend more time in the studio because you just love the way it feels. You love to do it. And when you're coming from that place and that energy, you produce better art, and people want to watch people like that. That is the X factor, people. Like the X factor that gets artists noticed. You can start building that now. The second part of that point is when you give yourself permission to enjoy your dancing, when you give yourself permission to be friggin' nice to yourself because you've said internally or just decided, I am worthy of being nice to myself. There's no reason I have to be mean in order to get things done. Completely optional. And in fact, it's not the best way to get things done. If you choose more positive self-talk, if you choose to, follow what you want to do and acknowledge that your desires aren't always a bad thing, they're not unproductive. It's not like there's discipline and then there's what you want to do. Maybe you could come to a more streamlined middle ground, but when you treat yourself like that, you subconsciously give permission to the people around you when you get back in the studio to treat themselves like that. Have you ever been around someone who just is comfortable with themselves? And when you notice them being comfortable with themselves in conversation, suddenly you notice you relax a little bit more. You feel like you can be yourself. That is all subconscious, and it's all transmitted through rapport. You can actually change the people around you for the better, not with some like weird hidden agenda, but just almost as an act of service. Be an example of that acceptance and that kindness to yourself. The dancers around you will maybe consciously one day thank you for it, because around you they see that, man, I don't have to treat myself like garbage in order to dance well, because she does it and it works out well for her. Lastly, I want to say, take this time to watch your language and to be really intentional with it. This is a point I make in so many of my videos, and it's going to come up a lot in these COVID videos, which is your language not only indicates what you think, feel, and believe up in here, but it also influences what you think, feel, believe, and how you act. It goes back into your mind in a certain way. And so when you say things like, I'm such a mess, that is actually an identity statement. And when you really internalize that, not only does that feel pretty awful, but you start to act like a person who is a mess. It's a feedback loop. It does actually matter how you talk to yourself. So observe the thoughts that you have, the way you talk to yourself. If you're having a bad day, ask yourself, oh, is this a bad day? The day isn't over. Or is it really just a rough 20 minutes? Am I feeling a certain way? Do I need to pay attention to my feelings? Instead of saying, kind of adopting more of that growth mindset rather than the fixed mindset. Oh, I don't like how I look right now. I'm never going to be able to do that. I'm never going to get back in shape. That is you deciding to stay stuck. Deciding to take one snapshot in time and say that is always how it's going to be, which is a complete assumption. You don't know the future, but you're basically determining it by deciding you're a mess, you're out of shape, you're never going to be XYZ, you're never going to be good at this. So instead of having that fixed mindset, move more through using your language, move into that growth mindset of, okay, I haven't achieved this yet, or I'm just not experiencing this today. I know I've done this before. I know that I'm not necessarily bad at pirouettes, but I want to improve something about them. I'm not quite yet where I want to be. Having just that flexibility and that engagement with, okay, what can I do differently? There's kind of a curiosity behind it and an adaptability and a flexibility in your mentality rather than here's how it is, it sucks, it's always going to be that way. So adopt that growth mindset, and really watch your language, speak kindly to yourself, speak life to yourself, and be specific. Avoid generalized statements around who you think you are and, how bad your technique is or how bad you feel. You are not all those things. You're not stuck there. So speak specifically and speak positively, and it will really, really, really positively impact you, I promise. So you guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Please do share it with some dancer friends who maybe you can share this whole series with them and watch the videos as they come out, talk to each other, maybe have a little Zoom hangout party talking about just some of the concepts I brought up today. What do you think about them? How are you going to implement them? This could be kind of a fun little discussion starter, hopefully. So I hope that this blessed you. I hope it helped. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.